devoted to the light needs devotion. It's devotion to ourselves as divine beings and ceasing to deny that the light's always here available. And to come together to follow the only voice that matters, our own true voice, which is Jesus's voice, the Holy Spirit, the voice for life, everlasting, beyond ever, timeless voice, changeless, the voice of truth. And then our only function being to celebrate infinite and ceasing to deny what's infinite. As we enter the new year, just being new, like we've never seen the world before, we don't know what it is. That feels like a good thing. Especially as we start out and he's reminding us with lesson 2, like to just never have seen the course lessons before. No idea. We've never seen a lesson before. We don't know what a lesson is. That's a great place to start. We don't know what a miracle is. We don't know what God is. Jesus goes, that's right. Jesus, do I truly have any clue what a miracle is? He reminds me if we really knew what miracles were, we'd never say no to them. The pointing to all that we are. Pointing back to the only thing we can be, which is light. So we'll just go like never see it before. It doesn't matter how many years in the course, we've never seen the course before. That's all he was meaning in the first chapter of A New Covenant. He doesn't mind shaking things up a little bit in consciousness. What do you mean when he's saying beyond the course, beyond a course of love, beyond he's saying start fresh. Start like there's no beginning. Because as soon as the idea of time arises, we think we know something. Before time. Before the idea of time, what's here? And I love it. Muji has this video, and then it's like, you see that there's light, and then hell breaks loose because it's a desire to follow, to have a choice for 2. You can ask Jesus, do I want the choice for 2? Am I just duking it out with myself? It's hilarious because we can't duke it out with the light. See if the light's duking. The light having a little shadow puppet battle with itself over what it is. That's the only way 2 can be here. For an idea that there be 2, and then wanting to try and live inside those ideas through desire for them. You can ask Jesus, is there like a desire here to get inside and duke it out inside a thought? Are thoughts really attacking me? is something really, we never question that. We assume, God, I'm getting beat up by thought. I'm getting the tar beaten out of me by thought. Think about let's find a way for thought to beat us up. Really, just like look at it. With curiosity, we're getting really curious. Can thought beat Jesus? Can thought beat me up? Do I like being beat up? Have an experience of feeling like I'm beat up by my thoughts? The desire for the experience of being the tar beaten out of me by thought. Think about that. Ask them, is that true, really? So beaten up that it appears in the play as though see here what it said, I'm never going to wake up. So infinite light of being, start with that. We're starting with infinite light before time began, and see if the light does before time began get beat up. Can it get beat up, or is it just like hanging out? And then Jesus, it has to be a desire. See, the light's not going around hunting for a thought to hammer on it. You feel, that feeling of being hammered by, I feel like I'm being hammered by. And that's the cover over to see that we really relish being hammered. That's so humbling. Jesus, is there a desire to feel like I'm being hammered by thoughts? Because it feels like hammering, or feeling like a dartboard. It's like, ow, ow, ow. Like that. Is that a desire to play like a dartboard? And it's like, well, at first we're not noticing that we're playing like a dartboard. Hitting my thoughts, ow, ow. And we don't see that we want not to get that we're light. Because it's so obvious. It's like really obvious. It's always been here before. We don't want what's obvious. Ask Jesus, do I not in any way, shape, or form want what's obvious? That I can't be anything other than infinite light. It's really humbling. Is it Jesus? Is it true that the light's here and I really don't want it in any way, shape, or form? But it gets funny because you see who's beating up who. The little shadow puppets in there beating each other up, and it's only a self-concept can be hurt, appear to be hurt without being hurt, because we know the light can't be hurt. So it's a cover over. It's our own. Is that my cover? When I'm feeling pain, is that the cover over so I can see that pain doesn't exist? When you get these yeses, it's like, okay, Jesus, I need your help, like really quickly. And Jesus, do I really not want miracle? In truth, in honesty of God, do I really want to control those miracles like badly? I don't even know what they are. But can you feel that? I want to control those miracles because that's what the I is. It's a means to deny infinite love, and that's the play. Control it under every circumstance. That's why he says miracles cannot be under conscious control because consciousness wants to snuff them out. Snuff love out of awareness like a cigarette and grind it to the ground. Grind that cigarette down. But it can't happen see in the light of divine being before time began. Is anything happening to time or light in there? Let's check in. The light test. We do the light test. And all we're doing is seeing that there's light. We're not really doing anything. We're just admitting that light's here already. Forgiveness is already here. And then seeing how much consciousness wants to avoid forgiveness like the plague. It's like Ebola. Ask Jesus. And then pretend like God is the Ebola virus, you know? Ask Jesus, is that true? Like, it's I'm avoiding that's consciousness's function to pretend like God is an Ebola virus that I have to run away from. Even though the light, if you just look, you have to laugh because the light's just here anyway. It's not doing anything. It's just love. Infinite love. Just here. And until there's an admission, really that admission that God, we think God is a plague. The play of consciousness is to pretend that God's going to get you. And then really relishing the God's going to get you. We can ask him, Jesus, is there a desire below my level of awareness for an experience that it feels like God is going to get me? Get me. So then if I can attack myself first, I'll be safe. Now, you can ask him about that. That's what he's saying. Yeah. So if I attack myself first, I'll be safe from God attacking me. He says, none of this makes any sense. But it's just denying how much the desire is there to keep concepts over God, over divine being. Wanting to be a little paper cardboard cutout character more than light. A little avatar. Do I like playing the avatar game, Jesus? And just see the wanting of it. Yeah, he's really reminding me, and he was talking about this yesterday too. So yeah, he says it's helpful to talk about in these joinings, to really be willing to bring what you feel is a prompt to the table with your brother. See, love just loves. And everything else is no, a judgment. And the most closely held, this is for me, desire is the desire to choose, for choice, to choose for hell. That's what we're actually, you can ask Jesus, am I actually like trying to cover over the desire to choose to experience hell? So it's not that it's going to be that it's hard to wake up. It's a choice. We want to guard the choice to stay asleep, that we're choosing to stay asleep. And that's part of the Jesus uncoding. It's not that you can't wake up. It's when you want to guard the choice to be sleeping. You can ask Jesus about that and see what he says. So it's closely guarding the wanting of choice. And you can ask him, Jesus, is choice hell? Because see that light doesn't know choice at all. See, can we find choice in there? No. In our direct experience is light being, this light, infinite before time began, is it hunting around for two to make a choice between? It just is. So the only way to quickly, and anyway, the only way, I'll just transcend to experience our natural state, which is heaven, is really given over choice, seeing where the desire is for choice to say no. And you'll notice, like when you're really feeling, I'm going to do something, I need to do something, I, that is a denial that light's here. That's why he's saying, follow me, I'm the way out, because of that wanting choice. He's helping us wash out the idea that choice exists. So the ego's demanding choice, and it gets really mad if there's any seeming threat to choice. That's why a lot of stuff can come up in a seeming place like this, because if you're really in guidance all the time, then every objection in wanting choice just comes into awareness really quickly. Because we're following Jesus, who's beyond choice. You can ask him, Jesus, are you beyond choice? So it's just to see beyond choice. So part of that undoing mechanism is really going to your brother with your seeming choices, to listen to Jesus, to see what's true. Wanting to choose where we're going to go, wanting to choose what we're going to say, wanting to choose what the body does. And choice is impossible. Ask Jesus, is choice impossible? So the last thing an ego wants to do is join on what it, quote unquote, is going to do next. Think about how you feel about talking to someone about your finances, or, all the things that we think are really private. It's the my guidance. It's the play. My guidance is this. My guidance. See, there's no my guidance. There's divine expression, and then there's the dreaming. Wanting to dream that choices can be made, the desire for experience, to pretend like a choices are real. So a quick way is when you think you have a prompt, see whether you're willing to join with a brother on it, because you'll see they'll celebrate it with you when it's given from God. They'll know it. You'll know it together. And see how much, like even the thought of joining on a decision that you might make, how it feels like inside, that tension or any kind of like this is just a signal of wanting to keep separate, wanting to keep that idea that choice exists alive in the mind, which is really death. Ask Jesus, Jesus, is that death? So the way consciousness plays is that remember Jesus said, you decide first and then go off and do it. And you can always tell that because the way consciousness will play, like it won't come inside of this group to join, to ask. It's going to look outside of it for proof in form. That's another way you can tell. You won't come to one of the beings in this group, or one of, somebody's really clear. It's like the decision will be made, the plane tickets will be bought, you won't want to join. It's just a symbol of not wanting to join with Jesus and look to see what's true. Is this truly the prompt for me? That's just the play of it. The play of it's, just see how it feels, like the tension that comes up. just a thought of joining about making a decision. That's how we feel about Jesus. Because love is open. It's unlimited. It's not limited by choice. See that infinite light, no limitation on choice. Because choice is a limitation. Ask Jesus, is choice, the idea of choice, limitation? Really, it's been showing me how that relishing of the idea of choice, knowing that there are no choices, because we can see that light doesn't choose anything. And there's no spiritual tradition that's a deep look that doesn't talk about choice as being death. So he's just offering a really quick, just see that tension. Would I be open enough on what I'm hearing right now? Ego is hating this, gonna hate this. You'll see how quickly. To share this, what I'm thinking of doing with my brother right now. Because you'll know, because Jesus is like open. You know, it's just an openness to talk about everything with them, which is the openness just to talk about anything with our brother. So that's really getting to be the call that he's saying. Looking at chapter 20 is going to be really helpful, where you really find yourself dropping into the God lane. And it's so happy. That's the thing. I didn't see that. It's like, what do you mean I want to join? It's like, I'm not joining on that, That's what you see when you live in kind of close. You start to see where you want to say no, basically, because it's right here. We can't divert or hide, or it's going to be right here. And you'll see where you really want to make those independent decisions of Jesus, which is trying to decide, is choosing death over life. And then it's just start with whatever it is and go, I'm contemplating this, or I feel like Jesus is asking me this. And even if we met, look, I really, really don't want to do it. Just see how it'll start to see how consciousness is going to play against everything that serves you. It's going to play to keep you from following the prompts. But it'll set you free really quickly when you're willing to join over what you think your prompts are. It'll lift you up so high. Jesus, there's so much love behind that. And that's why we can just feel it here. We ask, who's coming here, or it just, the joy in it and the reflections in it. Do we feel this together? We'll go out and shop, and do we feel this? Sometimes we don't always feel it because we don't want to hear Jesus. So it seems like there's one character that hears. But that's just not, it can't be true. And you always know when you're denying Jesus, if you're really mad and you think someone can hear better than you and you're really mad about it. Who the hell are they? It's just a code that the ego uses not to admit that we can hear, everybody can hear Jesus. It's just a cover over to say no, don't want to follow. So this is really coming together. It's just a precious gift, because what he's opening up is for us to really see where we're avoiding guidance, avoiding ourselves as divine beings that don't know what choice is. Don't have a clue. Do we actually know choice? What choice is? It's a concept. See, it's trying to create two different concepts and duking it out with them. Just Lesson 2. I have given everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning that it has for me. Yeah, he's really been showing me relishing meaning, relishing it, relishing giving things meaning. Oh, Jesus, do I relish giving thoughts meaning, ordering thoughts? Can you help me with that? Can I ask for a miracle? He says, just look deeply at me, how relishing. You know, how difficult seemingly it is to look around and not have each object have a meaning. To carve it out. Yeah, David, I remember hearing David say, you have even an apple and you carve it out as though it's separate. That's violence. He said, violence. Let's ask Jesus that one so we can like hear it. Is that violence? Yes. So it's self-inflicted violence to look at anything in form and have it be outside of ourselves or different or apart. You start to sense how that's hell. It's seeing outside of wholeness, the totality. It's giving meaning where it can't be. Can anything mean anything, Jesus? Can I know what anything means? Is it the slightest, remotest possibility I can actually know what something means? Does infinite light know what something means? Can we find that direct experience? The exercises with this idea are the same as those for the first one. Begin with the things that are near you and apply the idea to whatever your glance rests on. Okay, do that. God, I've given everything I see in this room all the meaning it has for me. Sit around. Couch, the rug, looking like I've never seen the Course before. That even knowing what the meaning, I give this lesson the meaning it has for me. So the question becomes, am I willing to have Jesus show me the meaning of the things I'm seeing? Am I willing to have him tell me the meaning of a drape or a carpet? Or the lamp, or the candles? Am I willing just to have him tell me what it means? If I'm giving the meaning, he's offering to give me a new meaning on everything. Am I willing? Then increase the range outward. Turn your head so that you include whatever is on either side. Okay. Got Jesus back here and Buddha up over there. He says, let me show you your desire for these meanings. Do I desire to give is that like an irresistible itch inside to just take something out of this whole display of magnitude, of infinite love, and stick a little sticky on it in my mind as I look around? Is there any differences in perception about anything in the room? We can start to see the hunt. the hunt is on for a difference. And just start to notice how that feels, to divide things out, how sick it makes you feel. Like one thought of dividing anything out of the whole. That's what's hidden. If possible, turn around, apply the idea to what was behind you. Okay. On this side. Remain as indiscriminate as possible in selecting subjects for its application. Do not concentrate on anything in particular, and do not attempt to include everything you see in a given area, or you'll be strained. So he's saying, okay, let's relax. We're going to relax and just look. Merely glance easily and fairly quickly around you, trying to avoid selection by size, brightness, color, material, or relative importance to you. Take the subjects simply as you see them. Try to apply the exercise with equal ease to a body or a button. A fly or a floor, an arm or an apple. The sole criterion for applying the idea to anything is merely that your eyes have lighted on it. Make no attempt to include anything in particular, but be sure that nothing is specifically excluded. I give everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning it has for me. No wonder we're exhausted all the time. Jesus, does that take an effort to give everything a meaning? Feel it. You know, notice that like the mind's going to ping. It looks at something and it tells like a little story about that lamp or that, you know, got that for Christmas in 1972. Jesus, does that cause strain when we assign meaning to everything? Just feel it. We're not even noticing all the strain. And then we want to go to bed at 4 p.m. Is that true, Jesus? Here, I'm telling you, yes. How much straining it is to give, you know, take out a staple gun and I'm going to staple that idea to that. And this. You can see how masterful this course is, to see showing us course lesson number 2. Let me show you where all the strain is. You can't walk out of a room. See, we wouldn't have to do a whole course if we just got this one lesson. Let's get it lesson 1 or 2. Jesus, help me get it lesson 2. Totally and completely. He says getting this lesson is the only way you'll ever be relaxed. Because you're like, you know, we're painting objects, we're painting a world and then giving everything a meaning to it. That's exhausting. That's what he's showing us, how exhausting it is to give all that. Okay, Jesus. I have given everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning it has for me. Jesus, is that true? Please show me how true that is. So I can't deny it anymore. And show me how much I'm really relishing giving it all a meaning. That's what he was really showing me all the relishing and giving everything a meaning. And think it's really a good thing, actually. Do I think it's a good thing to give everything meaning? I think it's heaven. Jesus, do I think giving everything a meaning is heaven? And is it really hell? Okay. It feels so good just to begin again with them. Just begin it like I've never seen the course before. And see everything anew. Jesus, can I just give everything in this room over to you to interpret for me? So I never interpret it again. Can I have like a miracle? To see everything in this room in your meaning, is that infinite love? It's the only way you can be yourself, he's saying. It's the only way to be ourselves is to let him interpret everything in every situation, always, without exception. To cease the play from bits and pieces and form having more power. I was just asking him about that. So Jesus, when we give something a meaning, that means the meaning is that it is more powerful than we are. He goes, yep. So we're constantly like bleeding power out by giving things meaning every time we do something or walk somewhere. He's going, yep. It's just abdication of the power to something that does not exist. This is more powerful than me. And then we go into like the dream about it, dream about what happened and what it means. And I'm asked, so that's instantaneous death to light in the mind. He said, yep. Instantaneous death to the recognition of light. I can't kill the light. We can see the lights here. But if we can see how simple it is that light can, the play in consciousness to give everything meaning all the time, constantly. We can see it constantly giving things meaning that doesn't exist. That's exhausting. He says that's not natural to you. Jesus, is giving meaning to everything I see natural to me? He says that is completely unnatural. Oh, there's so much love in that. So I'm valuing giving meaning to everything. Yes. Am I giving value to meaning everything more than I'm valuing God? And here's the answer. Yes. Yes. Okay, Jesus. Thank you for showing me that. That's so much love in that. He says, there's so much love you'll see in letting me give meaning to everything for you. Having everything have the meaning that God has given it, that love gives it. Because we can see if that's so hidden, how hidden it is that we're subconsciously giving everything in this room, just this room here, like a meaning to prove that we're separate from God. What else is there that we don't see, that we need him to show us, that deny this infinite love that's here? Just this one lesson can convince us that he's really the only way that can help us see how many assignments, misassignments we're giving to everything in the mind, every object, making a candlestick more than God. Jesus, am I making a candlestick mean more than God in my mind? He says, whenever you're not letting me show you the true meaning of all things, then that's what you're doing. That's the decision in the mind. Okay. That's how consciousness plays to be dead to light. That simple. Wanting a candlestick more. How many times do we fight over our toys or fighting over candlesticks, wanting them more than God? It's like, we're fighting Jesus over letting him interpret everything for us. That's all we're doing. Fighting love, trying to duke it out with love so that it doesn't interpret everything, that everything's love. That's deep. Jesus, I ask for a miracle on anything that's left. The tiniest twitch over God. Thank you. Thank you, beloveds.